Welcome to today's episode of Sassy Detectives. We're your hosts, Tori
and Rae.
We are here to talk about anything and everything Nancy Drew, and today we will be giving you our top 10 personal picks for best music tracks in the series. Roll the intro.
Okay. This one was very hard for me.
This one was difficult for me too. But I think it's funny because, so just a little behind the scenes info for the listeners. When we were starting to make our lists earlier today, Rae was like, but if we overlap, maybe we'll have to compromise, and because we don't want to have repeated tracks. And I was like, yeah, I understand. And then as we started to do our lists, we had zero overlap. Which I think is really funny.
It was good.
Yeah, I think it's good, and it's also, I think, a nice testament to the music in general, because so many tracks are good, and so even us picking our top tracks, it means there's still so many good tracks. So please do not be offended or hurt if we do not list your favorite Nancy tracks as in our list. We don't even list each other's favorite tracks in our lists.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of good music here.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good music, so we just kind of wanted to have the opportunity to talk about that. So the way we're going to do this is we have our top 10, and we each have picked 3 honorable mentions as well. So we're going to start going back and forth with our 10th, 9th, 8th, etc. We'll work backward, and then before we reveal our number 1 pick, we'll give you our honorable mentions. So, would you like to kick us off? And I guess we could talk about the tracks too, if you have anything to say or a memory or something, then feel free. Would you like to kick us off with your number 10?
Okay, so my number 10 track in my top 10 is Swing from Secret of Shadow Ranch.
Okay.
Because it's such a fun track, and I've always been a sucker for country swing, so so a lot of the Shadow Ranch music is very much so something I would like, and I also feel like it has something to do with me with why I am so into the Fallout New Vegas soundtrack as well.
Okay.
That has a lot of country swing on it, but yeah, and a lot of people don't really think of it as a swing thing, but it's country swing. It's a fusion between, it's very old country, but back in there's a lot of music history going on with it.
And the musical structure of that song is a swing.
Yeah. I love it so much. But yeah, it's a great song, great track, great game. I love cowboys. Yeehaw.
Yeah. So my number 10 pick is Traditional from Shadow at the Water's Edge. I just think this track is super immersive while playing the game. It's one of the tracks that gets stuck in my head the most. And also just reminds me so much of the ryokan and the whole the gardens and just all of the atmosphere that comes from those areas. I have a tendency when I'm playing that game to do the big master Sudoku, just literally standing in the lobby in front of Miwako. And this song plays a lot in that area, so for some reason I just associate that puzzle with this track. But it's one that's really memorable for me, and I think it does a lot of really nice things in regards to using some of the traditional instruments and sounds. And I just overall like it. I just think it's a really nice track. So that's my number 10 pick.
Yeah. Alright, so now on to my number 9, which is Toro from Ransom of the Seven Ships.
Ooh.
And listen, I am a Ransom of the Seven Ships hater. That
Me
game
too.
sucks. Okay, there's the racism, obviously, but there's also the fact that the entire story has the worst plot ever. It's like, oh my gosh, there's one suspect. I wonder who the culprit could be.
And also
I hate the monkeys.
And every single puzzle in that game makes me want to bash my head into the wall. This is not a Ransom episode, but
not every single puzzle in that game, because there are I am a weird person because I am a fan of the underwater Sudoku with the colors. I love that stuff. It was so fun to me. But then they give you stuff like the freaking hourglass puzzle that makes me want to actually kill myself. And I'm like, why would you do this to me? I'm sorry about this, but whoever came up with that puzzle idea, I personally hate you. However, the music in this game goes so hard, and for what? For the game to be so bad.
Yeah.
Like, I love this track. Toro, listen, the Spanish guitar. The Spanish guitar, man. Like, it gets to me. And, like, I could also... I almost put Johnny as an honorable mention, because that's another good track, but it's, like, number 14 for me, I guess. But Toro is, like... Toro is my stuff, man. Like, when I first played this game, while I was hating the rest of the game, I would wait for this track to come on, and whenever it would, I would be like, ooh, this is some good music here.
Yeah.
Something that makes, like, the only part of the game that's good is the music, which slays, but, like, especially this one. This one is serving, okay? And so that's what I have to say about that track. I love it so much.
Okay, so my number 9 pick is the track Somber from Treasure in a Royal Tower. I don't know if it's partly because of my age or whatever, but the amount of replays that I have on Nancy Drew games does lean really, really high into, I would say, the first 12 or 13 games. Those are the games that I've replayed more than any others. And it's really mostly for the reasons that because I was a fan of the series as the games were coming out. So while I was waiting for more games to be released, I would replay the ones that were already out. But because of that, I have a lot of attachment to those older games, just like a lot of nostalgia. And this is the track that fills my head when I think of the game Treasure in a Royal Tower. It also has a way of evoking sort of like a cozy winter night feeling in me.
It does, yeah.
The same way that, like, Christmas time does. I know that sounds weird because it doesn't necessarily make me think of, like, holidays, but it does make me feel in a similar way as, like, Christmas music does. It just kind of, like, evokes a specific memory in me. And so, as far as, like, the track itself goes, I think, unfortunately, for most fans of the series, it tends to be one of the more forgettable tracks from Treasure in a Royal Tower. And I understand, because I do think that other tracks like Library or Warm from that game tend to be a little bit more iconic.
Yeah, Warm is the one that I think, yeah.
Yeah, I would consider those to be more iconic tracks, but personally, the track Somber really does make me feel like happy and warm in that way. So that's why I put it for my number 9 pick.
Yay! Yeah, that's a good one. Alright, so my number 8 is Legend from Legend of the Crystal Skull.
Okay.
This is the first of a few tracks from the game you will see here.
And what's funny...
There's a lot of jazz on this list.
And what's funny
I
is
love jazz.
No big spoilers for me, but I don't have any tracks from Crystal Skull on my list.
which is a shame,
I
Tori.
know. And I'm not trying to say
That
that those songs
sucks.
are bad. Don't disown me. I'm not trying to
You're
say in any way
disowned,
that I
too
think
bad.
that soundtrack is bad. I think pretty much all Nancy Drew soundtracks are good. But if you think about it, there's like over 100 tracks. We had to
there's
narrow
so
down.
many. But anyway, yeah, Legend of the Crystal Skull. I don't know. I'm like grooving to it, you know. I'm like searching the cemeteries for clues and stuff. I'm walking in the rain and listening to this groove, this beat, and I'm just like, oh yeah, we're grooving and doing some mystery detective stuff, you know. So I don't know. It's a cool track and it's vibey, you know. I think this game honestly does have like the vibiest vibes out of all the games. You know what I mean?
I can
like-
understand what you're saying, yes.
Yeah, because like not only do you have like the music, the everything in it, because we've already discussed the game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did we
but,
do
like,
Crystal Skull? Hang on, let me
I
look.
think we did. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did. But
Yes, we did.
this game just has like the highest amount of vibes, and the music obviously is part of the best, is like one of the best parts of it. I'll keep going on that later though, but this one is just like my cruising around the cemetery doing stuff.
All right, so my number 8 pick, and I might get a little bit of mockery for this, but it's okay. My number 8 pick is the Nancy Drew rap from the original Secrets Can Kill.
Like a bullet from a gun, she arrived on the scene. A young detective who doesn't know the
I
meaning of
freaking love that rap.
Like a bullet from a gun. She rides on the scene.
And when I had the opportunity
amazing.
to talk with Kevin Manthe years ago, and I told him that was the first rap song I ever knew in my whole life, word for word. And that is true. So, yeah, like a bullet from a gun, she arrives on the scene. That song, I would
Amazing.
not say
Amazing.
that it is the best song, but it is a song that I am personally very attached to. It's one that has become iconic just to me and my, like, personal journey with Nancy Drew, and how it has connected me to other people, and how I have become a part of the Nancy Drew community, how I've become a part of the Nancy Drew Twitch community, just my friends that I've made in this circle start to associate that with me, and I just find it really funny and amusing. And so because of that, and because in my brain it's like there's this song and then it extends into the love I have for the community, I had to mention it, so that's why I chose it as my number 8 pick.
Yeah. I feel like that's kind of like along the lines of like how I feel about Twilight, where it's like, is this like the best film? No. But however, I love it so much and it's very special to me, you know?
Right.
And also it's iconic. I love like the weird operatic vocals in the background.
Yeah,
like...
when the girls are like, oh!
Yeah, why is
Yeah.
it like that? It's iconic. It's iconic. Alright. So my number 7 is Common from Secret of the Old Clock. Which it vibes so hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so into the jazz, as I've said. But like there are so many good parts of this soundtrack in specific, like Secret of the Old Clock. But this was just my favorite one. I had to have at least one Secret of the Old Clock song on here because it just has such a good soundtrack to it.
Yeah, I think it
And
has
also
the
the
most
jazz.
stylized soundtrack.
And also the jazz. You know
Can't forget
me.
the jazz.
You know me and my jazz. I love it, and that is all I have to say. It's good jazz. It's fun.
Okay, so my number 7 pick is also maybe a slightly unusual one, but it is the song Fight from Danger by Design. Without without giving spoilers to the story, it is the song that plays in the end game sequence, and as the name suggests, it's when Nancy has to fight. But
the first ever boss fight in a Nancy game.
Yeah. But one thing I think is really interesting about that song is that not only does it feel like a fight song, which is unusual in and of itself in a Nancy Drew game, but it also feels very French with the instrumentation that's included. And I don't know how that balance was so perfectly created, but I think that makes it so memorable. And also, it does a really good job at kind of like increasing your heart rate / adrenaline just hearing the song, especially if you know what's coming. So I have like this Pavloved response when I hear this song to be like, oh my gosh, it's time. I have to like be ready, you know? So I just think it's like it is a good song, but it's also in kind of like a silly point of the series. So I think that just makes it really
so
unforgettable.
Silly.
Yeah.
We get the best quote from the games ever. Actually, no. There's a lot of best quotes, but one of my favorite quotes, which is, "I fought imaginary elves stronger than you," to this song. So, yeah. So there's that. Yeah, that's a good one. All right. So, moving on to number 6. For me, we have Curio from Legend of the Crystal Skull. I know! Wow, another one! As I said, there's gotta be a few of them. But this one is one of my favorites because of how, like, atmospheric it is, I guess, because it has, like, the very old record sound to it. Like, the quality isn't that good. It's very, like, it sounds like it's playing off of an old jazz record on a record player in the background of a store. And that's exactly what it is. And it's just, it's so good and has such, like a warm feeling to it, I guess. Like a warm, chill feeling, I guess. I don't know. It's just such a fun track. And it also, you know, it's also playing every time you're in the curio shop, which is, you know, one of my favorite places in the games because it's absolutely insane. But yeah, that's a fun track. And
I think if
I'm
I
gonna
had
leave it
to
at that, because
yeah, I think if I were to choose a favorite track from Crystal Skull, it probably would be Curio.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's like so good. But yeah.
Okay, so my number 6 pick is the track Festive from Labyrinth of Lies.
Yeah.
This one
that's
is
a good
really
one.
fun. It's very Greek. It also just feels it fits the sort of vibe of, like, you know, Greek mythology. Like, it just sort of feels like a fun encapsulation of that. And I am a Labyrinth of Lies super, like, fan. Like, it's in my top 5 games, which I know is not true for many in the fandom, and that's okay. But I tend to like Labyrinth of Lies more than the average person in the fandom. But one of those reasons is definitely because of the music. But yeah, the track Festive, it really makes me feel like excited to be playing it. It also makes me feel like sort of locked into whatever puzzle I happen to be playing at that time. So overall, it's just the track that, like, when I'm thinking of the game, that's the one that pops into my head first.
Yeah, it's a good one. All right, my number 5 is Girls from the Captive Curse. Which
Okay.
I think is a really underrated game. It's one of my, I don't know, it's just a very good, I don't know, it's very, like, somber and, like, sad, but also very beautiful, and it really, like, I don't know, it lends to the feeling that this castle is very, like, beautiful and grand and everything, but it's also very sad and tragic too. I
Yeah.
know, it's just a really good track, and I
It's
love
kind of
the
melancholic.
strings and
Yeah.
everything. Very, yeah.
In like a pretty way, of
And
course.
very pretty way, yeah. I don't know, it's just one of my favorite tracks. And I also love the piano in it. God, the entire track is really good. But yeah, it's also like I'm gonna be streaming it this week, which is past the time. I mean, which is before this podcast will be airing. But I'm probably going to talk about how much I love that game there. But it's such a good sad song.
That's fair.
And you can feel it just with the instrumentation of it. You don't need any of the lyrics to realize, oh, this is about really bad things that happened to girls at this castle and everything. You just see, like, you hear the sad music and you see the title and you're like, oh, that's what this is about.
Mhm.
But yeah, I love it. It's so pretty. It's so pretty.
It is pretty. Okay, so my number 5 pick is Moon from Ghost Dogs of Moon Lake.
Ooh.
And I like this track because it's just kind of like personal nostalgia for me. And I'll never like forget the first time I played through this game and just like where I was at that point in my life and like who I was as a teenager, a young teenager, preteen actually, I guess, at that point. So there was just, it was like in those like really formative sort of years where, I'm just kind of, I'm doing a lot more on like my own, like I'm starting to gain like that sort of preteen independence. And I just remember this song and I remember hearing it and thinking that I didn't want to really, I think it plays at night in that game, if I'm remembering correctly. And I remember thinking like I didn't want to change to daytime because I just liked this track so much. And I liked wandering around at night and seeing the reflection off of Moon Lake and walking over to Red Knot and, tromping through the woods to get to the creepy cemetery and just thinking how much that this song really made me feel like I was there. And so, we've talked about the game and you can get all of my opinions, there in that episode. But I think as far as the music goes, Moon is one that has definitely stuck with me over the years.
Yeah. All right, so my next one is a little bit of a detour compared to the rest of them on this list, but it is Kasumi from Shadow at the Water's Edge.
Ooh.
You probably can guess by some of the things that I've posted on my page that I also, not only do I like Nancy Drew, but I also like horror games. And Shadow at the Water's Edge is the closest we're ever going to get to a Nancy Drew horror game, I think. I know we also have, like, Ghost of Thornton Hall and everything, but that one, for me, isn't as scary as Shadow at the Water's Edge. I feel like that one's a lot scarier.
I agree.
It is, because, like, there's obviously a lot of fun spooks and ghosts and stuff in Ghost of Thornton Hall, but Ghost of Thornton Hall doesn't have this track.
Yeah.
This is the most anxiety-inducing track in the entire game series.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a song that, like, if you like, it does sound like it comes from a horror game, not from a point-and-click Nancy Cozy Mystery game. It sounds like it's from a freaking horror game, like, because, like, you can feel like the heart beating. You could, like, it's very horror. It's very freaky, and like, damn, they really went there with this game, and I love it so much. It is so freaky. Like, if you get me being like, oh, this is scary, yeah, then it's good. Yeah. So this, one of my favorite tracks, and it has been since I played the game, because I was freaked out, girl. I was scared.
Yeah, I was too.
When I heard this song, but
I think
it's still
also
one of my favorites. It's
one
so
thing
good.
about that track is that it incorporates not just instruments but also sound effects. So
yeah,
you
the
hear,
sound
like,
effects in it.
like whispers and like water dripping and things like that. And
It is
yeah.
crazy, and I love it so much. It's just it's like fear. If they took fear, put it in a bottle, and then dumped that in a Nancy Drew soundtrack, that would be this song.
Yeah.
Fear and anxiety. And paranoia. A little bit of that, too.
So my number 4 pick is a very different vibe from yours. It is Pigeon from The Phantom of Venice.
Sorry, we go from horror to bird, pigeon.
Yeah, this is the song that plays when you play Scopa, and Scopa is my favorite Nancy Drew minigame in the whole series. So anytime I hear
one.
doo 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 doo, I always just get really happy because it means Scopa is close.
Yes, it's a good one. It is a good one. I love it.
And aside from just the attachment I have to Scopa and this song because of that, I do think that this song has a really good just use of melody, and that melody becomes an earworm, but not in a distracting way. So it's really easy to hum along with while you're playing, because even though it is repetitive, it's not so short that it becomes annoying in its repetition. It just kind of becomes comforting, I think, in its repetition, and I think that's really nice. Yeah. So.
All right. Now we're in the top 3. Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, top 3 and honorable mentions. But
yeah.
Anyway. So my number 3 pick is Bruno from Legend of the Crystal Skull. Wow, a third? You better believe it! Listen, it's such a good track. Though, like, the vibes, the jazz. Oh my god. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. I just love it so much, and it's such, like, I don't know. It's an insane track for me. It just, like, I don't know how else to describe it. I'm like, just like, yeah, cool, awesome, amazing. I will listen to this for 3 hours on repeat and feel like I'm a snazzy rich man living in New Orleans on a cemetery with more money than I know what to do with.
Yeah.
And so I buy a lot of glass eyes because I happen to be missing an eye. And instead of having, like, 1 or 2 glass eyes, I can change out, oh no, I must have 25. So.
Be careful, your neuroticism is showing.
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't know. It's just such a good track.
It is. It feels like the character of Bruno, even though we never get to meet him.
It does, yeah.
Okay.
It also feels like I also want to add that it also feels like I'm smoking a really big cigar when I'm listening to this.
Oh.
Does that make sense? Do you get that? Like, do you get that vibe?
I would say
think like Dutch Vanderland style.
I'm
Like,
thinking instead of
but
cigar, I would
jazz.
go with like fancy mint julep on the porch.
yeah, I guess that, but I'm like, listen, I'm on the balcony of my New Orleans home.
You can smoke a cigar if you
looking at
want.
my cemetery.
Yeah,
like
that's cool.
personally, would I smoke a cigar? No, but like the energy, like a fake
No,
cigar,
I understand.
you know, just for the vibes, just for the vibes.
Okay. So, my number 3 pick is also a song that I feel like encapsulates a character that we never get to meet, and it is Francis from Secret of Shadow Ranch.
Yes, that's another good one.
Yeah, so I like this track because obviously Secret of Shadow Ranch is my favorite game. I've mentioned that before. But I think that the track of Francis does a really good job at being kind of like this grounding point in that game. It obviously plays mostly at the ranch. And so I associate a lot of the characters that at the ranch to the Song of Francis. I also associate things like baking a cake with that song and reading the journal, like Francis Humber or Merrill Humber's journal, I associate with this song. So this song is just kind of like one of those comfort tracks to me. It's another one that I feel like gets really easy to hum along with, and just kind of gives a sort of like safe vibe. I know that sounds like a weird thing to say, but like if you have been playing the game, especially when I was younger, there was like when I played Nancy Drew games, there were areas that I would feel more tense at just because of the nature of the location. And so if I was like, I need to calm down or like, you know, think straighter because I've been stressing about this puzzle or this area or whatever, I would go back to an area that felt safe. And for me, with Shadow Ranch, the ranch house is that place. And so I think of the song Francis as like that safe song. So yeah, anyway.
It's so good. All right, now for number 2. So I have a tie for number 2. There are 2 songs that are so alike, and they just pair well together, so that I thought I'd just smush them into one thing, and that is Modern and Pop from Shadow at the Water's Edge.
Okay.
Because, like, I'm leaving the haunted place. And I'm going to explore the city. You know, so obviously, what am I gonna do? Listen to the music. And it's like this J-pop stuff, and I'm in the trains just bopping away and stuff. And then, like, I go to the convention center, and I get bento, and then, like, I go to the pachinko parlor, and then I go to, like, the Purikua booth. And I take these cute little photos, and I have all these like cute little trinkets everywhere, and I'm so happy because it's so cool, and I'm not being haunted by a ghost that's trying to kill me, and it's so fun, and I'm out here like dancing and having fun, and like shaking my booty to this really fun music, and like, you know, it's so cute and fun, and yeah,
No,
I just
get
love
it.
them both so much,
Yeah.
and it's such. Like, the other song I have from Shadow at the Water's Edge on this list, Kasumi, is like the complete opposite of this song, of these 2 songs.
No kidding.
Because that song is like, darkness, fear, destruction, horror, you're going to die, you are going to die. And this one is like, have fun! Let's go party in the city! And eat bento! And take photos in a photo booth! And go to the pachinko parlor and all this other cute, fun stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like the 2 complete opposite songs in the same thing. But I love it so much. These 2 songs are like, they are twin sisters.
That's fair.
To me, you know. that they wear matching clothes except in slightly different color schemes, and they finish each other's sentences like the Voros twins, but as little anime girls. You know? I don't know. Anyway, that's my number 2.
That's fair. Okay, so my number 2 is Mystery from Danger on Deception Island.
A sleigh.
Yes. Do you ever have this phenomenon happen to you where you have such an attachment to like the first part of a game from your childhood? Does that happen to you?
Yes.
So it's like
oh girl, yes.
where it's like I would be happy playing the first 15 minutes of this game over and over and over and over. And for some reason that happens to me with Danger on Deception Island. I like the whole game, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that like I dislike the rest of the game. But I have such a almost emotional response to hearing the song Mystery, because it, again, there's just so much nostalgia attached to that very beginning part of Danger on Deception Island, which is where this track plays. It plays mostly on Katie's boat, and sometimes I think in the Hot Kettle Cafe. So basically one of those games that I just, as a young girl, I just spent a lot of time kind of taking my time through the beginning. And everything about Danger on Deception Island's music as a whole really feels so atmospheric and like transportive. Is that a word? I don't know.
It's something.
I have never been to Washington State or the San Juan Islands, but when I'm playing that game, I feel like I am there. And I think a lot of that has to do with the music and how it makes me feel like I've been transported there. And the track Mystery is primarily the one that does that for me. So because of just my strong emotional response, whenever I hear this track in particular, I really wanted to put it high up. And I know that Danger on Deception Island is probably not a super popular one in regards to the soundtrack, but for me, I have a lot of attachment to it, so it ended up ranking pretty high for me.
All right, it is now time for our honorable mentions before we get to our number 1 picks.
Okay.
All right, so do we want to do like all 3 at a time for each of us?
You can, I think.
Okay, so my honorable mentions are in order. I'll describe them. So my first honorable mention is Fiona from The Haunting of Castle Malloy.
Interesting.
I grew up on Celtic music and everything, and I also love how, like, I don't know, slightly wistful and yet, like, dark and creepy this song is. You know, it's like, I don't know, it's very nice. My number 2 honorable mention is Bluegrass from Trail of the Twister. Because, one, for such a chill game as that, why does it have to have so much music that slaps so hard? 2, I've always been a bluegrass girly. I've always loved bluegrass.
It's very Americana.
My entire life.
Yeah.
You know, I love the bluegrass. I love it. I went to this, there's this one time where I went to this, like, Wild West Fair thing I was doing a circus gig at, and there's a live bluegrass band there, and I was like, gosh, I love bluegrass so much. And so that was really cool. And I love it. It's so nice and fun and happy, and Trail of Twister is also a comfort game for me, so that's a fun one. All right, my third honorable mention is Festival from Sea of Darkness.
Okay.
Which, listen, Sea of Darkness has such good music. I'm surprised this is like the only one that got into my top 13, I guess. But it's such a good song, and it really helps you get into the vibes of where you are, especially like at the time of year that everything is happening, and it's very good. And yeah, gosh, I love Sea of Darkness. I play it every year at Christmas. It's so good. But yeah, that's it. That's all.
Okay. So for my honorable mentions, I'll go in order as well from like third place to first in honorable mentions. So I have Renaissance from Curse of Blackmore Manor. I think it's such a beautiful track, and it really feels very... How do I describe this in the way that in my brain, it feels? It feels like old family money. And I know that sounds like a strange thing to describe a song, but it also doesn't feel like old family money in sort of like a negative connotation. I kind of mean it in like a positive connotation, which I know probably sounds contradictory to itself. But it just feels like the Penvillin family to me.
Yeah.
My second one is Shanty from Sea of Darkness. So I also have a Sea of Darkness track in my honorable mentions.
There's good music.
Yeah, Shanty is a track that feels melancholic, kind of like we were describing earlier when you were talking about like girls. Shanty is my version of that. It feels very melancholic, but it also feels very like grand and adventurous in sort of a subdued way. It's not like loud adventurous like Cannon Fire. It's kind of like quiet adventurous, like you would read like a travel journal or something like that. Like it kind of feels like that. Mm-hmm. And my last honorable mention is Amuse from Secret of the Old Clock. Which is really fun. Kind of side shout out to also the Amuse solos, because you can also hear the track where the instruments are more isolated and you get to hear each individual piece a little bit better. But all together they make up Amuse, which I think is a really nice track. It has a little bit of like this sort of whimsy to it, without feeling like overtly silly or goofy. And I like that as well. So those are my honorable mentions.
All right. So,
here we go.
Are we ready for our number one picks?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So, my number one pick is Memoirs from Curse of Blackmore Manor.
Nice one.
So this song, it is so good, and it is one of my it's always been one of my top ACDC tracks. Every once in a while they switch around and stuff, but this one has always been at least one or two. But it's such a good track. Like, I love the piano, I love the strings, I love everything, I love the vibes. But it also like has a lot of nostalgia for me as well, because this is the first game they'd ever completed on my own, and also my sister played it with me again after I completed it on my own, and she also loves this game so much. It's probably, I think this is also her favorite ACDC game. Well, it's one of my top 3, but but I don't know which 3. It changes a lot. But this track is just, it's also very special to both me and my sister. It's also her favorite track in the Nate's True games, but
That's amazing.
So there's this time where I would play it on the piano for her, and it would just happen. If I wanted to get her out of her room, I would go to the piano, I'd start playing this song, and she would come out and she's like, "Are you playing Memoirs from Curse of Blackmore Manor?" She'd be like, "I love this song!" So every time I wanted to get her out, I would play that song.
That's cute.
And yeah, so it's beautiful, and also it has very happy memories for me, and it slays. So
That's fair.
Yeah. And even though it's pretty, like, subdued compared to a lot of the other tracks on my list, it's just so solid that it has to be at number 1, you know?
Totally valid.
Yeah.
Okay, so my number 1 pick is Exotic from Secret of the Scarlet Hand.
Oh, hell yeah, baby! Oh, hell yeah!
There is not a time that can go by when I hear this song that I do not dance in some way to it. It's usually just like a little bit of like a shoulder shimmy or a little hip shake, you know? But this song brings me so much joy and happiness. I love it. I play it on repeat sometimes from YouTube just because I'm feeling like it. And this song is only like a minute and 3 seconds, okay? So it's not a very long song.
The entire time we are shaking our hips to it.
Yeah, you have to dance.
You gotta dance to it. You gotta boogie down. Actually, no, this isn't boogie music. This is shaking booty music, not boogie.
Yeah, it is definitely the rump shaker. You know what I mean?
It is. Yeah. We're trying to keep it clean here.
Yeah. So, I just love Exotic. And I, we talked about this in our Secret of Scarlet Hand up but both of us do like this game, where a lot of people it's in their like bottom tiers. So I think the two of us tend to be kind of polarizing with some others in the community because of that. But Exotic really does never miss for me. And if I could,
it's so good.
If I could like sear it into my brain so that I could like press a button and it would play out of my mouth like that scene in Lilo and Stitch, then I would do it because I love this song so much. So that's my number 1 pick.
Oh. All right, so that is a bunch of good music. And it's cool, and we like music, and just because your favorite track isn't on this list doesn't mean it's not a good track.
Or that we dislike it.
There's a lot of good tracks. Yeah, or that we dislike it. There's a lot of good music here.
Yeah.
Like, I almost put on one of the Tomb of the Lost Queen soundtrack songs on this. It didn't make it. Yeah. But I was tempted. To put it in honorable mentions.
Some songs that like just barely made the cut, like didn't make the cut for me, was like Aunt Eloise's House.
Still good songs though.
Yeah,
that's another fun one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. And one of the tracks from which was it? Shattered Medallion. Yeah, because that game has some good music too. So. But this was fun. I liked this episode.
Yeah.
So if you would like to tell us some of your favorite Nancy tracks, please let us know. Let us know if you think that any of our takes are bad, because we will still defend our choices.
I will die on this hill, okay?
But we'll hear you out.
I will die. I have chosen this hill to die on, and I will die on it, okay? I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
And that's it,
That's it.
But if you want to get me off this hill, you're welcome to try.
Yes.
But I'm dying here.
Well, thank you so much for listening to this episode.
Yeah, thank you.
And we hope that to see you again in a couple weeks. Our 2nd anniversary is coming up very soon. So if you follow us on socials, keep an eye out because very soon we will be asking for questions to do another Q&A episode. So you're welcome to ask us anything about Nancy Drew or otherwise, and we will try to get through as many questions as possible, time allowing, I guess, depending on how many we get. Or if we get similar questions, we may combine them into like one answer, of course, but so just keep an eye out for that. Thank you so much for listening, and stay sleuthy.
Yay!
Bye-bye!